The summer wind howled through the empty plains like a lonely wolf. Bent Creek, a forgotten town with more dust than dreams, sat beneath the weight of heat and hopelessness. Once a waypoint for wagon trains, now it was home to broken men, weary women, and secrets buried deeper than the old mine shaft on the outskirts. On the edge of town, nestled between the burnt shell of an old church and the dead cottonwood, stood a battered homestead. Its porch sagged, the roof wept with every rain, and yet it pulsed with life. Inside was Clara Hensley and her newborn daughter, Rose. Clara was not like the other women of Bent Creek. Her hands were callous from holding water, her back scarred from a whip once wielded by a man who thought he owned her. But her eyes, green as prairie sage and sharper than any blade, never wavered. She had survived a marriage of cruelty, buried the man who had nearly broken her, and gave birth alone in the dark, with no midwife but her own grit. Now, she lived for her daughter. Rose had soft curls like spun honey and a cry that tore through Clara's chest every time. Clara had sworn she'd never cry again, not after what she endured, but Rose's tears, they undid her. Every Sunday, Clara walked into town to sell bread and trade milk from her goat. Folks rarely looked her in the eye, but she didn't care until he came to town. Chapter 2. The Drifter. Jesse Rawlins rode in on a black horse with a limp and a pass too heavy to name. His boots were worn, hat low, and the revolver on his hip was the kind that spoke before words. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was looking for a place to bury his sins. He found Clara instead. They met by chance. Her goat had gotten loose in the alley behind the mercantile, and Jesse, thinking it a stray, tried to lasso it. Clara came charging out with a broom in hand and eyes blazing. "You let go of that goat or I'll knock your teeth down your throat." Jesse raised his hands. I meant no harm. Just didn't want it getting trampled." She blinked, surprised at the politeness, then snatched the rope from his hand. "You're not from here." "No, just passing through." She didn't thank him, didn't ask his name, just turned and walked away. And he was hooked. Chapter 3. The Fire Beneath. Jesse found reasons to linger in Bent Creek, fixed fences for coin, helped an old blacksmith shoe mules. And every Sunday, he stood outside the mercantile to watch Clara trade. It took 3 weeks before she spoke to him again. "You following me?" "No," he said, tipping his hat. "Just happened to like fresh bread." "You could buy it without staring at me like a lovesick hound." "Fair point," he said, smiling. "But then I wouldn't get to see you smile back." She didn't smile, but she didn't walk away either. By the 4th week, Jesse was invited to supper. By the 6th, he was fixing her porch. By the 8th, he was holding baby Rose while Clara knelt in the garden, sweat beading on her brow. "I ain't looking for a man," she told him one evening as they watched lightning dance over the hills. "And I ain't looking to be one," he replied, "but I reckon I can't help caring for you." She was quiet a long time before whispering, "I don't scream when I'm afraid, Jesse. I scream when I'm about to fight." He just nodded. "Good. Then I'll know when to stand beside you." Chapter 4. Shadows Return. Peace never lasts long in the West. One afternoon, a pair of bounty hunters rolled into Bent Creek. Word was they were chasing a man who'd killed 2 Pinkertons in Dodge. Their faces were cruel, eyes always scanning. One of them, Cade Russ, had a smile that chilled Clara to her bones. She caught him staring at Rose through the mercantile window. Jesse stiffened when she told him, "Don't let him near her. Something's off about him. He's looking for someone." He asked the storekeeper if a woman with a child had come into town recently. Clara gripped her apron. "Do you think he knows about him?" Jess's jaw tightened. "That man's dead, Clara. You made sure of that." But they both knew, in the West, ghosts didn't stay buried long. That night, Jesse sat on the porch, rifle across his knees. He didn't sleep. Neither did Clara. Chapter 5. The Breaking Point. 2 days later, Clara came home to find her door kicked in. Rose was gone. She didn't cry, didn't make a sound, just picked up a shotgun and walked into town, Jesse trailing behind. They found Cade in the saloon, smug and surrounded. "Where's my baby?" Clara's voice was low but deadly. Cade grinned. "She's safe. For now. But you and I need to have a little talk." Jesse stepped forward, but Cade's partner raised his gun. Cade sneered. "You see, I know who you are, Clara Hensley. Or should I say, Clara Mayfair, widow of Frank Mayfair, the railroad boss who vanished 3 years ago." Murmurs filled the saloon. Clara stood tall. "He didn't vanish. I buried him myself." "I believe you," Cade said. "But Frank had enemies. And a stash. Gold. Documents. I think you know where." Clara's hands clenched. "I don't." "Well, until you remember, the baby stays with me." That's when she screamed. It wasn't fair. It was war. Jess's gun fired first. Cade's partner went down. Chaos erupted. Tables overturned. Men scattered. Clara tackled Cade herself, slamming his face into the bar. He fought back, slashing her arm with a knife. She didn't stop. Blooded and wild, Clara roared, "You don't touch my child." Jesse pulled her off before she killed him. "Where is she?" he demanded. Cade, coughing blood, spat, "In the barn, behind the inn." They found Rose tied in a crate, unharmed, crying. Clara collapsed beside her, shaking. For the first time in years, she cried. Chapter 6. Redemption's Road. Sheriff Tuck, slow but fair, ruled the shooting self-defense. Cade and his partner were buried without ceremony. No one asked questions about Frank Mayfair after that. Jessa stayed. Clara's wounds healed, but deeper ones lingered. One night, while Jesse rocked Rose to sleep, Clara asked him the question that had haunted her since the barn. "Would you have still wanted me if you knew what I'd done?" He kissed her forehead. "I wanted you because of what you survived." They married that spring beneath the re-bloomed cottonwood. Clara wore her scars like medals. And Jesse? He never stopped standing beside her. Epilogue. Dust settles. Years passed. Bent Creek grew into a town worth staying in. Clara and Jesse ran a thriving ranch, raised 3 more children, and helped other wounded women find peace. But Rose, strong, fierce, fearless Rose, always remembered what her mama once screamed. And when her own daughter was born, she told her, "Your grandma didn't cry when they took her, but when they touched her baby." She made the whole town remember her name.